Hey guys, Cameron with CPM Reviews, and I am here to talk about episode 8 of WandaVision. At this point, we are done with the sitcoms, we are done with the old TV episodes as far as Wanda and Vision playing make-believe in them, and we're getting down to what has gone on throughout this whole thing. And before I get started, I have to tell you guys this is a huge spoiler warning for this episode. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. This episode is the We're about to dive in, but I just want to thank you for clicking on the video. Hit that like button if you're a fan of this sort of thing. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know as soon as I upload. This episode deals with backstories. It deals with backstories for this entire season. Any questions that you may have had about any character gets answered in this episode. Who was Agatha all along? How did Wanda do it? How is Vision back alive? Like any question that you had about the characters in the show. The characters in the show gets answered in this episode. So at the very beginning, we find out Agatha was a witch from way back in the Salem days, like the 1600s. And like, she apparently went above her pay grade with trying to figure out how to get more power. And the other witches were like, we got to take you out. You're trying to do too much. You're doing the most. And Agatha was like, well, maybe you guys aren't doing enough. She doesn't say that in the show, but essentially she drains them of all of their life so that she gets to live longer. And then the brooch that she's been wearing in every single episode was her mother's brooch. So that is her way of keeping her memory alive, but it may have a deeper meaning. We haven't gotten there yet, but we've got so many more places to go. That is Agatha's backstory. So Wanda can't use her magic against Agatha in the, the dungeon because she's got runes, like protective runes all over the wall. She's like, you don't know this? This is Magic 101. And so she's essentially testing out what Wanda knows and what Wanda doesn't know. The same thing that she's been doing this entire season, trying to figure out how did Wanda do this? That's why she sent Pietro. She says, oh yeah, this Pietro was fake. We are visiting points in Wanda's backstory. And the reason why we've been seeing all of these WandaVision episodes in styles of classic sitcoms was that was Wanda. That was her childhood. That's what she grew up on. Like her father, or so we think it's her father, would come home with all of these TV shows on DVD, like the Dick Van Dyke Show and Bewitched and Malcolm in the Middle. So all of these TV show themed things that we've been watching were because of her childhood. So she's dealing with the trauma here of her parents' death. Her and Pietro were stuck under the bed for 2 days and the bomb hit and it didn't go off. And Agatha's like, oh, you just did a knee-jerk probability hex. So Wanda's had these powers the entire time. We fast forward to Wanda's time in the Hydra facility where she got her powers. Everybody else had died after touching an Infinity Stone because of course they did. But Wanda is no ordinary person. And so she gets these powers augmented through the Mind Stone. And what's funny is that whenever Hydra, the powers that be, were reviewing the footage of it, like the section is cut out, just like how Wanda live censored segments in WandaVision when Sword was watching. She did this when Hydra was watching too. So this is not a new trick. This is something she's been doing for years. It possibly also answers why she and Vision were able to stay under the radar whenever they would have their little secret rendezvous right before Infinity War. Like, if she was ever on any kind of surveillance, that footage never existed. And then they also cut forward to a segment where she's kind of like on the Avengers compound and she's feeling very alone. This is after Pietro's death, and Vision comes and comforts her. And this is definitely like the Vision that we remember. But then we get to the point to where, you know, Agatha is trying to dive into, is like, how in the world did you do this? And she's tapping into all of this grief that Wanda's had throughout her entire life. And then we get to the point to where Wanda goes to the sword facility to see Vision's body. And in episode 5, we were told that, you know, that she broke in and she stole Vision's body. That ain't how it happened, fam. Those were lies. Tyler Haywood, hey, you're a jerk. He's a jerk. He's done nothing but lie this entire season. But Wanda comes, she just wants a body to bury. She hasn't been given a chance to properly grieve. And she wants to see the body, and when she does, because they actually let her in. She doesn't break in. You know, Tyler was like, she busted in and she stole the body and it was all violent and stuff. I'm like, no, she was super diplomatic about it. She was just like, I want to see him. He was the only thing I had left. They let her in, and she's viewing his dismantled body like on several tables. And she gets upset and she breaks the glass and she floats down, and Haywood's like, stand down. And so she goes over and she's like, I can't feel you.
I just feel you.
And that was their thing. But she's like, I can't feel you. And then she leaves. She doesn't steal the body. Body's still there. Jerk face. She has like this sheet of paper in her car. She leaves. She goes to Westview. And she goes to this lot. There is no house there. There's like a foundation and the building blocks of a house. Like, there's not even like a wall. There's not a wooden frame. It's just a few cinder blocks. And she wills the house into existence, and she doesn't do it kind of consciously, but it's like all of the grief from the death of her parents, from the death of her brother, from the death of Vision, and then the fact that she can't even take Vision with her. It all hit at once, and she culminated this in a backlash where, like, the reality of Westview when she did it was that of something that made her feel comfortable. In this case, those old television shows. And then she conjured up a fake Vision. She didn't steal Vision's body. This is the reason why Vision can't remember anything before Westview was in the Hex, because he never existed before the Hex. It was Wanda all along. So anyway, now Agatha knows the secret. She knows the secret behind Westview and behind Wanda. And now she's got Wanda's kids held hostage, and Wanda's like, let my kids go. And then Agatha says it. She's like, you are too powerful to just be wielding this all like crazy. He's like, you are the being of like mythical proportions. You are the Scarlet Witch. She said it. They finally said it. They alluded to it in episode 5, but they finally said it. So I'm pretty sure there's only one episode left. And it's going to be a doozy, because they showed in a mid-credit sequence again that they resurrected Vision's body. They took the drone that Wanda had like all hexed up and used it as a power source to power up Vision. And this is like that all white body Vision that we've seen in the comic books. So this is definitely that comic book representation of the all-white kind of like blank-minded Vision, and that's what they're going to send into the Hex. So we're going to see a couple of things going on in the finale. We're going to see what looks like a real Vision versus WandaVision. We're going to see a witch fight off, but somebody who is much more powerful but inexperienced versus somebody who is not as powerful but knows all the tricks. And then we're going to see a good old-fashioned sword off with Tyler Haywood's sword versus Monica Rambeau's photon sword. They're not literal swords, but It's the soul of S.W.O.R.D. at stake. And so it could not have come to a much more satisfying climax. And I know I'm wrapping up like how this episode panned out, but it quite honestly opened the door. And Kevin, you did it sneakily, but it finally opened the door. Wanda's a mutant. She did not get her powers from the Mind Stone, as it was alluded to all these years. She had the power all along. And quite possibly, either Pietro also had this power all along, or she manipulated things to where he wouldn't die whenever he was in close proximity to the Mind Stone. So, is our last cameo going to be her actual father? Are we getting Magneto at the end of this episode? That is my recap of episode 8 of WandaVision. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel and share this with your friends. As always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. We'll see you next time.